Okay, so the first card you have your past is the Queen of Wands. I absolutely love this queen. She's, she's confident. She's all about action. She's quite fearless. She looks you right in the eye. I love that. And she's facing us as well. So she's like, right, I'm ready. I can stare you down. I can look you in the eye, that kind of thing. So now, yeah, so this is what I'm seeing here. I think maybe you are standing up for yourself. Maybe you're standing up for yourself, finally standing up for yourself. That's what I'm seeing. Someone was playing you around. Yeah, someone was playing you around. I think they said they wanted to be there with you. I think they said they wanted you. But it was all talk, really. That's what I'm seeing. And you finally stood up for yourself. You said something about this. And I think you were quite very, very kind to this person. You did a lot for them. Too kind, I think. Too kind. I'm seeing an apology here, an apology that you didn't have to make, that you made to this person. And yeah, that annoys me. I'm not sure why you did that. Sorry, it sounds like I'm being horrible to you, but yeah, it annoys me because I can see that they're kind of playing around and messing you around. But you're apologizing. But that was before you kind of got this confidence and you said, no, enough and enough. Enough and enough, that's enough is enough. So enough and enough, I don't know what that means. Enough is enough. You said enough is enough. You stood up for yourself. And yeah, also I'm looking at this card and I'm looking at this cat on this card, and cats obviously wander around. So I think that's what they did as well. I think they were kind of wandering around outside of the relationship, looking at other people, all that kind of thing. You couldn't get a hold of them. I'm seeing that as well. And they kind of wandered around. I'm not actually seeing any third parties. I'm not seeing that. But I am seeing, I have to tell you this, I am seeing a bit of talking to other people, messaging other people, that kind of thing. I don't know whether you know that or not. I'm seeing that. Yeah. This is what I think you told them, something like this. I think you told them, if you want to wander around like a cat, not these words, obviously. If you want to go out and wander around, have your freedom, all that kind of thing, you go do that. You go and do that. But if you're going to do that, you're not coming back to me. Goodbye. You can be here and not do that, or you can go away and do that. That's the kind of thing I'm seeing. Very strong, just like this queen. Very beautiful. And of course, you were strong on the outside when you said that, but on the inside, obviously, it's very hurtful if someone's doing this to you, if you give everything to them, if you love them and they show you that kind of disrespect. I am seeing disrespect here. So, yeah, and I think you're going to be a lot like this queen from now on. You know, you're not going to fit in with anyone. You're going to make sure they fit in with you. You're not going to apologize unless you absolutely, genuinely have done something wrong. You're not going to do that ever again. With this apologizing, actually, I think I can see this a little bit more clearly. I think this is what was happening. If this is you, obviously. There was something hidden from you. They either did something they hid from you, or they didn't show you something, or they kept a secret from you. And it was something quite serious, I think. And I think you found out about this. You found out what this was. And then I think there were some arguments around that. There was a lot of anger. I think you were angry. I think they were angry. I think you both probably said things you shouldn't have said. You apologize for your part. That's what I'm seeing. I'm sorry I was angry, something like that. Sorry I said that. I was angry. I didn't mean to say whatever that was. But you didn't get anything from them. And really, whatever the whole thing was all about, the key to all this problem, or what was behind all this, was this thing they hid from you. And they didn't apologize for that. And that was the reason for all this anger. So, you know, I think you had a lot of different problems as well. I'm seeing that. But I think this one situation where this thing was hidden, you had this argument or whatever this is, I think that might have been the start of things going downhill for you, for this relationship. That was the catalyst to this change, I think. That was the start. So if this is you, I think you've said your thing, It looks like you probably separated from this person now. I think it might be quite recent because I'm seeing all these really difficult feelings you're experiencing. You know, you're showing your strength on the outside, or you were, but on the inside, you are quite hurt, I think, because you're being disrespected, or you were. So you've got that hurt. You're still carrying that with you right now, I think. So, you know, I think you're still going to have all these ups and downs. And if you start thinking things like, you know, because this might happen down the road, you know, you might start to think, well, I'm a bit lonely, I miss them a bit, and they weren't actually that bad. It was actually okay, it wasn't too bad, it was all right. I might talk to them again. Once you start going down that road, that's when you have to remember who you are. You're this Queen of Wands. You stand up for yourself, you don't take nonsense, you will not let anyone disrespect you. Just remember who you are if you start going backwards again. That's just something I have to say. I know I sound really bossy, I'm sorry. So, okay, so the next card you have for your past is the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, again, look at this wheel. Ups and downs, ups and downs. That's what I'm seeing here. Again, so yeah, so you are going to go through that. Your feelings are going to be up and down. Everything's going to be up and down. That's normal. Don't be hard on yourself if you're going through these ups and downs. 1 minute you might be angry, then you might be crying, then you might be fine. You know, that's all what happens when you separate from someone, and you know that logically. Okay, this is what I'm seeing. I don't want to tell you this because I think you might still be a little bit vulnerable. You're having all these ups and downs. But I actually think they might try to come back and talk to you again. You'll be guarding yourself when they do. You'll be guarding yourself. You're like this Sphinx at the top of this wheel. And they're a bit like this snake coming around. When I say snake, I'm laughing because it sounds like I'm saying, oh, they're a horrible snake. They might be a horrible snake. You might think they are, but that's not what I mean when I say they're like the snake. What I mean is, they're probably going to say things like, when they see you again, they'll say things like, oh, I've really changed, you know, I'm a different person now, I'm so different. I've shed my old skin, I've shed my old skin like a snake. That's where I'm getting that from. So there's a snake coming around, and so they're going to come around and they're going to say, oh, I'm different now, I've shed my skin. I'm not like that, I'm this new person. So just be aware. If you say no to them when they come around, they're probably going to try again. They're probably going to come back several times. I'm seeing that because this wheel turns around and around and around, and this snake and this jackal are coming around. They're going to keep on coming around. So just be aware of that. Yeah, so I'm seeing, okay, there's a promise. Lots of promises, actually. They're going to promise you something. They're going to give you a big, or they're going to promise you something quite big, I should say. Really, really big. They're not just going to say, I've changed. They're going to say, I want to promise you this thing. I want to promise you this. Something very big, something very important. So yeah, be careful. Be very, very careful. I don't want to tell you what to do. It's really hard. I'm kind of stuck in between saying, don't fall for this, don't fall for this, and telling you what to do, and because this is a really big thing that they're promising. Okay, just ask yourself this when they come in with this promise. Ask yourself this. You might hear this and you might go, oh, wow, they're promising that. Okay, ask yourself this. If they're promising these things now, or whatever this is now, when you're walking away, why weren't they promising this before? Why is it okay now and not before, all of a sudden? Why does it take you walking away for them to promise this? If they truly love you, if they truly want to be with you, they'll promise you this anyway, because they want to. The reason why they should promise you these things is because they want to, not because you're walking away. So just think about that. Just think about that. I hate telling people, I had to tell you that. I had to tell you that. I'm sorry, I had to. The last card you have you past is the Four of Wands. So yes, look at this. Okay, so this can be the marriage card. It can be, or serious commitment. That's what it can be in love. So yeah, when I was seeing serious promise, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. They might say, I want to get married. They might say, I want to commit to you, or something very serious like that. I want to be engaged. I'm going to buy you a ring, or I want to commit to you. I want to be with you forever. I'm going to do this. I've really, really changed. I'm seeing all that kind of thing. I have to say, I keep on going, okay, I'm just going to say this. If you're going through emotional ups and downs, which I'm seeing that you are, the last thing you need is something like this, because it's going to throw you backwards. You're trying to go forward and this is sending you backwards. I'm just looking at this wheel again, in the Wheel of Fortune. And this is probably going to sound a bit strange, but this is what I'm seeing. It's making me think of a washing machine, turning around and around and around and around. And that's what your heart and your head feels like when you're going through this, like a washing machine. It's churning around and around and around. It doesn't feel good to feel like that when your heart's turning around like that and your head's spinning around. But by churning things around like a washing machine, things are going through a process. Things are being washed, they're being cleaned. They're going to come out the other end of this process clean, washed, better than when they went in. So when it doesn't feel good now, but when you come out the other end, you're going to be better than when you started. That's what a washing machine does. It's a process of cleaning things, of making things better. And the last thing you want is, when you've got this washing machine going, is to have someone come along and open the door and put some rubbish in, or an old boot or a piece of mud or something. You don't want that in the washing machine. It's going to wreck. First of all, it's going to break the process. It's going to break the washing machine, and it's going to throw mud onto everything. So what are you going to have to do then? You're going to have to start the process all back to the beginning again. So you're going along in this process, you're healing, you're getting yourself better. This person comes back again, messes it up again, runs away again, and then you've got to start the process all over again. You've got to start the washing machine all over again. I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous, talking about washing machines. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. I just realised how crazy I sound. So, okay, but this is a serious subject. I'm really sorry. So, be really, really careful of anyone promising you the world, especially when they promise you the world when you're walking away and not before that. So think about all of that really, really carefully if this is you. And this is a really, really special card. You know, the Four of Wands is probably the absolute best card you could get in a reading. So if you're single, which I think you are, if this is all resonating, you will probably be single. You are going to find happiness in love. You absolutely are. You definitely are. And, you know, you might have people in your family trying to encourage you to find someone new. Oh, come out with us. Come out. You know, we want to introduce you to this person and that person. I'm just looking at these women on the other side of these wands, and they're saying, come through. They're waving at you. Come through. Come out with us. I don't think you're ready for that, actually. I don't think you're ready. You're not ready for someone new. And I don't think you're ready to go out and get yourself about yet. I'm not saying be a hermit, and I'm not saying that's what you want, but you're just not ready yet. And don't be pressured by people trying to get you out and do things. They mean well. I think they care about you, but especially if this is family, but you need to do things when you're ready. So follow your instincts, follow your flow, follow yourself. And the big thing here is, all in this past, and I think all through this reading, is remember you are the Queen of Wands. Be really, really strong. Stay strong, I should say. Okay, so the first card you have your presence, the Ace of Cups. Yeah, this is the emotional card. This is super emotional. So again, if you're single, there's definitely new love ahead of you. New love, I should say. That's what this card can be about. But yeah, again, the way you're feeling right now, if this is you, you're probably not thinking about finding new love right now. You're not interested in anything at this stage. You're still getting through this process. And I think you'd rather be in your pajamas right now, actually, than go out anywhere. That's what I'm seeing. But you'll be ready. When it's time, you'll be ready. And yeah, again, this card's about going through a process. Some people see this as going through a process of baptism. Doesn't mean you're going to be baptized, but that's what this is. A spiritual process using water. So you're going through an internal process. So that's what this is showing me again. So you've already started this, I think. You might not feel as if you're getting anywhere with this actually, because there are a lot of tears here, a lot of ups and downs. It's not easy, obviously. I think you probably still have some more tears in front of you. And you're not going to be crying all the time, obviously, but out of tears come growth. Out of tears, out of pain, out of struggle, out of this process, there's going to be growth. Because if you look at this card right at the bottom, you've got all these beautiful water lilies, and they're growing out of the water. They're growing out of the tears. So, and when you've been through this whole process, that's when you'll be ready to walk through these wands. That's when you'll be ready. And if you carry this strength with you, the strength from the Queen of Wands, you'll be able to go through these wands by yourself, and you won't need anyone with you. You won't need anyone to be with you. You might want someone with you, and that's fine, but you won't need them with you. And that's when you know you'll be ready, when you can say to yourself, I'd like someone with me, but I don't need to have them with me. I don't need them. That's when you're at your peak of strength. And that's when you're ready to go through the wands. That's when you're ready for someone else. So I hope that makes sense to you, or someone who needs to hear that. So the next card you have for your present is death. Yes. Okay, the only thing I can say about death, or the first thing I have to say about death, is that it's final. The end. Death is the end. So you're absolutely going to say goodbye to this ex, whoever this is. I don't know whether they're officially an ex yet or not. They might be, they might not be. I'm not sure where you are with this, because I'm seeing a little bit of talking, because I'm seeing them coming back a few times, and I think you might talk to them a few times. But I think after a while, when you've spoken to them, you've considered everything, your mind's going to be made up, I think. So I don't think they're going to convince you really in the end. They're not going to be able to, I don't think, in the end. Yeah, you might consider things, but I think you're just going to say no after everything. I'm just looking at this Pope, or whoever this is, this religious leader, and he's in front of this horse. He's trying to beg death. He's trying to say, oh, don't let me die. He's on his knees and he's saying, please don't let me die. You can't do that with death. You can't beg death. When it happens, it happens. When it comes, it comes. Doesn't matter who you are. You might be the Pope, you might be Mother Teresa, you might be anyone. But when death comes to you, it's time. You can't do anything about it. And so when you want to move on from this person, it's time. It's time. And they're going to try and talk to you. They're not going to beg you, but they are going to try and convince you. And I can't quite see when this final no is going to actually happen, but it is going to happen. Lots of talking first, conversations. They might try and convince you of their honesty or their purity, because I'm getting the snake again, who's like, I've changed, I'm really honest, because this is a white horse. It's all about purity. So I think that's what they're going to try and say to you as well. I'm really honest now, I'm not doing this anymore. But it's going to end. It's going to end. I think in the end, it doesn't matter what they say, that's going to be it. Your mind's going to be made up. You're not going back once you've made your mind up. That's what I'm seeing in the death card. So the last card you have for your present is the Fool, which I love. I love this card. I'm seeing moving here. So you might be moving. Or you might be planning on moving, because I'm seeing you thinking about this, planning this. You might have been planning this for a while, actually. I don't think you can move right now for some reason. There's something stopping you. It feels a little bit formal. It feels like you've agreed to something. You've signed a contract or something like that, and you can't get out of it yet. Excuse me, sorry, my throat's sore. You might not have told people what your plans are yet. You might be thinking, okay, I'm going to move, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I won't tell them yet because they're not going to want me to do that. So I'm just going to keep it to myself until I know what I'm doing. So it might be that kind of thing. And it's being slow. I think this process is being slow. You're waiting. It's a bit frustrating as well. I'm getting that as well. You might be wondering whether this is actually ever going to happen, I think. But it is going to happen. I can see that. I am seeing some delays here. So I think there are some delays in front of you. I think even when this contract or whatever this is, when the time's up on that, I think there are more delays in front of you after that as well. There's some kind of disruption. It looks like travel disruption. It looks like security delays or some kind of security checks or something like that. Not on you. It's kind of a general security thing, and that's going to delay things. That's what I'm seeing. It might be an airport, it might be something like that. Just slows everything down, but you will get there if this is you. The other thing is with this axe, when they find out you want to do this, you want to travel or whatever this is, they might think it's about them. They might think you're moving because of them. You're not moving because of them. You planned this a while ago, but when they find this out, it might actually be triggering. Yeah, it'll trigger them, I think. So they're going to want to reach out again to you when they find this out. I think they're going to try and convince you again. They might be a bit upset, actually. So just be prepared for that happening as well. Just be ready for them to contact you again when this comes out, because you might keep this to yourself and then you might think, well, okay, it's ready, the time's right, I'm going to talk to some people about this, and then they might find out. So you might have to go through this again with them. So just be prepared for that. Okay, so the first card you have for your future is the Tower. Right. Not great. So I wouldn't worry about this if I were you. I don't think this is about you. I don't think anything terrible is going to happen to you. I think this is more about this person you're leaving behind, this axe. Yeah, it's probably because of them, or it's probably about them, I should say, because I keep on seeing them coming back over and over again, trying again. They're a trier. And of course, the reason why they keep on trying is because they think you'll come back. They think there's a chance of you coming back again. And I think this Tower moment's going to come to them when they find out you're going to make this move, or you're talking about making this move. Because before that, I was seeing that as triggering them. So that's the Tower moment for them, I think. And, I think they have a lot of hope. They have a lot of hope for you getting together. But I think when they find out this move, or about this move, I should say, that's going to be a big message to them that you are literally moving on. You are moving on. The Death card's here. It's over. That's going to be the realization for them. And it's going to feel horrible for them. It really is, obviously. But it's going to be a good thing for them because they're going to have to do this at some time. And, after a tower collapses, you're forced to build yourself up again. And, you've already done that yourself. Maybe not yet, but by the time this tower happens, you'll be further along in this process. You've done the work, you've moved on, and, it's not easy. There's lots and lots of tears in the Ace of Cups. There's a whirlwind washing machine thing in the Wheel of Fortune. So you've been through all that, and you've come out the other side. So yeah, it's not easy. It really isn't. But, they're going to have to go through that as well. They're going to have to start that process. They've been putting it off. They're going to have to go through it. So, and it's the best thing for them. It really is, because coming out the other end, you're a lot better. This is like, sometimes the Tower can be the phoenix rising from the ashes when it's all fallen. And so, you can't rise from the ashes if you're in denial of them being there. So they're going to have to face up to this, and it's going to be the best thing for them. Okay, so the next card you have for your future is the Four of Swords. Look, yeah. This is why this Tower collapsed. This is why the relationship collapsed. They didn't see your value. They didn't appreciate your value. That's what I'm seeing in this card. Look at the statue. It's made of gold. Everything else on this card looks really, really dull. You know, it looks like some kind of, I don't know, stone or concrete or something that's all really dark. Apart from the window, everything looks really dull and grey and stone and cold and everything. So you've got this gold here, apart from that. So you're the only gold in the room, and they're not realising that, or they weren't at that time. They weren't seeing your value. And yeah, they were too busy looking out of this window. They were looking outside of the relationship. They were talking to other people. They were too busy to see what they had in front of them, which is gold, which is you. You're the gold, and they weren't seeing that. So, you know, now you're in this situation where they've gone, they haven't realised that, or you've left them, and you've got to recognise that in yourself. They didn't do that, so you've got to give that to yourself. You've got to recognise the gold in yourself. You've got to see yourself as valuable, see yourself as important. And, you know, when you do that, you're going to realise that it doesn't matter what other people think. It only matters what you think. You're the gold. You're the strength. You're the Queen of Wands. Remember that. And yeah, you're still going to be in this process, I think, for a while. It's going to take a long time. You're still going to have these memories of things they said and all of that. Because if you look at these swords, they're hanging down over this man, all the bad memories. But in time, that's all going to fade. That's all going to pass. All you need to know is you're on the right road now. The other thing you need to know here is you're the gold. You are valuable. You need to recognise that in yourself. You need to treat yourself as gold so that when the next person comes along, you're not going to have the same kind of person again. You're not going to be with the same kind of person again. And yeah, you're on the right path. You're on the right path. They're on the right path too after being in this tower moment, but they don't feel like that, I'm sure. Okay, the last card you have, your future, is the Three of Pentacles. So this is really interesting because these last two cards, they're both about churches, inside a church. They're all kind of focused on being inside of a church. And a church is all about, well, it's all about receiving messages. It's also about being in a thoughtful place, a place where you really think. You examine yourself, you examine your spiritual condition, you think about yourself, all of that kind of thing. So it's all about your spirituality. It's all about resting on things. It's all about thinking, being thoughtful, all those kinds of things. So what this is showing me is, I think in the next, say, I don't know, month or so, you're probably going to be just in a very thoughtful mood, being by yourself or with very, very close friends in the Three of Pentacles. Just a few people, not lots and lots of people. So you might have one or two or three close friends that you're just going to spend some time with when you feel like it. The other time you're going to be by yourself, very, very thoughtful, contemplating, really, really getting yourself through the last part of that process and out the other side of that. And it's all about being very, very peaceful and very, very thoughtful. And that's how you're going to be paring down a lot of your friends. I think you're just going to surround yourself with a few. Very, very peaceful next few weeks. Definitely this next month is going to be quite peaceful for you. That's what I'm seeing, and you really deserve to have that peace because you've been through a lot with this person. So yeah, that's all I have. That's all I can really see there. Nothing else. Yeah, so I'll just finish there because that's really all I can see in that